Hello, we are live. Rob,
Ring the bell! Ring the bell!
yeah, subscribe.
Yes.
It's been a long time since I made a show with you.
Oh yeah. It's been a long time.
It's been a long time, really long.
Yeah, it's been months, I think.
Yeah. So, thanks for coming back.
Thanks for inviting me, Rico.
So, Rob, I want to talk a little bit about creativity at work, but I want to tell you a story first.
Tell me a story,
I will
Rico.
tell you a story. In 1997,
Wow, that was
20 years ago,
Holy shit, that was 20 years ago. Oh my
1997. Do you remember where you were in 1997? I remember exactly what I was doing.
God. In 1997?
Yep.
Yes, I remember. That was one of the best SIGET festivals I've been to.
I was on the 7th grade, being bullied at school. That's where I was.
You're young, Rico.
I am.
You're a young lad.
Thanks. So in 1997, in California, I think, there was a...
You were in
No. I'm telling the story now.
Okay, you're telling the
I'm
story.
telling the story now. So
This is not the story of you being bullied.
No. This is not the story of me being bullied. We can talk about that another time. It's a sad story, so let's not go there.
Okay.
Let's go to 1997 at the University of, I don't remember the name, but in California for sure. And this is a lecture about the future of internet in 1997 by an Italian professor named Massimo Marchiori. He was talking about a project called Hyperlink,
Okay.
which was a project that could find web pages based on the text on their signature or something like that instead of the words inside the web page. And he gave an interview after that, and that's how I got to know this story. And he says in the interview that after his lecture, a young boy, quoting him, a sweet guy, a sweet boy, came to me, quoting him, and said, I really find it interesting, your research, and I would love to talk about this. And so the next day, they spent the whole day talking about this.
Okay, was this boy named Larry or
Sergey?
Or Sergey?
Yes, exactly. The name of the boy was Larry Page, and they spent the whole day talking about the Hyperlink project, to the point that in the end, he decided to go forward with developing the project, right? The professor also wanted to develop the project, so he came back to Europe and asked for 20,000 euro for the government to invest in the studies, in the research. And the government or the university, they preferred to invest in some kind of history of the copper used in Italy or something like that. Well, 100 billion in revenue per year later,
Yeah.
we know the story, right? So who got the project ahead? And the thing about this story is the point about telling this story is that Larry Page and Sergey Brin, they were researchers at heart. They never finished their PhDs, but they are researchers because they went to a school that is a Montessori school. They
Yes.
both you know the concept, right? And because of that school, it's because of that school and the teachings of that school that they created Google the way Google is. So I wanted to tell this story because there is a rule in Google. Well, nowadays it's not really put into practice, or some people say that it's not really good anymore. But point taken is that the 20% rule was responsible for creating a lot of the products from Google. Gmail, for example, is one of the 20% ones.
Yeah.
AdSense is another one. But anyways, this 20% rule says that, can you remind me of the 20% rule?
Yes, the 20% rule in Google that we actually implemented in our companies that we founded and we led in this team of people who work in Abimato right now. And I think the rule is not set here, but we kind of live by it.
I wanted to talk about this, but okay, yeah.
So the 20% rule is whoa.
It's a live show.
Yeah, it's a live show. So the 20% rule is so that 20% of the time at work you spend should be spent on creative projects, that are in your heart, that you totally can dedicate yourself to. It doesn't have to be related to the projects that you work on in the company, but anything wild, anything that you can think of that you really, really want to pursue. Also, that 20% can be spent on researching stuff or for your own studies or creativity. So this 20% is really, really important to get your mind off of the mundane everyday work, plus refresh it to so you can get new inputs, and when you go back to work on your current tasks in the company, then you could start with a new, fresh mind.
Very
That's
cool.
how I see it.
Yeah, definitely. I think that this, I went forward, right, to see if the 20% rule is really a thing, if companies are implementing and so on and so forth. Some people say that it's really good. Some people say that it's not really very well implemented, even at Google. And some people even say that the 20% rule is a gimmick from the bosses to say that, well, 80% of your time you're going to give 100% of your work. So you can have 20% of your time, which I think it's fair enough, right?
Fair. I mean,
Yeah.
it's way better than the old thinking of come and work 100%, or actually, we'd prefer if you work 110%.
Yeah. So, and no one can do that. I mean, it's
No.
Physiologically impossible to give 100% for longer than, I don't know, 1 hour, 2 hours. You have to have breaks, right? But different topic, different conversation. The point I wanted to raise of the 20% rule is how people learn things, and how the 20% rule, or the time off rule, or whatever you want to call the creativity part of your work rule, brings people actually to learn new skills, learn new stuff to do at work, and implement, of course. Because, so there's two sides of innovation, right? So there is the innovation, and there is creativity. Creativity is when you wonder about stuff and you be creative with concepts and designs. Not designs, don't take design as the design itself or something.
I understand, yeah.
And innovation is when you implement those things, when you make it work, correct? We also implement the be creative part, something of your work at the other place I work. And well, that's the reason why I'm here today doing this wild project of mine that's putting me out to speak to people and speak to you.
Rico.
Yeah.
Innovation comes from creativity.
Yeah, definitely.
So if you have time to be creative at your job or in your life, then you will innovate. If you don't have time you don't have even that 20% or even less or more, you won't be able to innovate, because you will be focused on the now, and you will be focused on tasks to solve right now at the moment. Innovation is something in the future, so you have to give yourself time, or you have to give your employees time to think about the future, because innovation is in the future. It's kind of in the word.
But then it comes another thing I wanted to talk to you, Rob. In order to innovate, actually, well, first you have to be creative to innovate,
Yes.
right? And don't take creativity to create something completely out of the blue, but actually implementing or creating things that already, or not creating, but using things that already exist in a different way. That's also innovation.
And being creative to use the tools you have.
Exactly.
It does. You said it right. It doesn't have to be this whole big thing. It can be little minute things. Just like, I don't know, I can use that chainsaw as a, I don't know,
Cup holder.
cup holder. Exactly. So
Why not?
why not? It's kind of dangerous, but
Well,
yeah.
let's not do that. Yeah, but
Yeah,
then
people didn't see the chainsaw. We have a chainsaw here, so yeah.
a bit frightened right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is an office where we have a chainsaw ready. Every office should have a chainsaw.
Are you doing your 100%?
Yeah, exactly. This
Do
is
it.
a motivation tool.
Motivation tool.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, let's get back to business at hand.
Yeah. So the other thing, or the same thing with innovation and creativity. Exactly. People need time to innovate. People need time to think about the future, to be creative.
Yeah.
But not all the companies know exactly how to do that. Then, for example, in Google, every boss or leader or manager or something, or some person that has a, let's say, a hierarchy higher than other people, they are teach to be coaches. So they can actually coach the people to be creative. They can coach the people to learn new things and to use better their time in order to, be creative, right? And that brings back to Google, because these creative people will always feel happy. Don't take happy as the main concept of happy, but happy employees. Don't go out to be entrepreneurial, because if you create a culture of entrepreneurship inside the company, eventually people will leave and create another company. But if you make this environment as good for them as they are, okay, I will create inside because I also own the company, because I also have a space to speak about the stuff, because I also have a space to create and innovate, then I'm not going out. I'm happy here.
Yeah. The thing is, though, at Google, the people who have left still are in connection with Google.
Yes.
It's so funny how and Google also encourages them to go on their own, and it's like, okay, you can go and do your stuff. We might even give you money to do it. Why not?
But you keep close.
They keep them close. So it's a really good tactic to not burn the bridges and keep your staff who leave you still close, because you never know what they're going to develop in the future and how you can use that. It's the same thing with companies. A lot of companies hate when people go on Facebook and on company time and chat and do stuff, but they don't realize, the closed-minded companies or bosses don't realize that your employees' network is your network too. So if your employees maintain a good network of people, you can use that to your advantage if you need to. But for them to be connected, they have to maintain that network. They have to talk to people. They have to go on Facebook, on Instagram, on whatever, to maintain that network. This is more important in a field where where it's like this, where it's social media or where the company is B2C. But it's also important when a company's B2B, where any one of the company's employees can be
A salesperson.
an asset, a little connection to maybe another company, maybe another consumer. So that's also like in the 20% for me.
Yeah, of course.
Maintaining your network, maintaining an online presence.
Yeah, that's very important. There are still companies that are not very much attached to the technological world. How, for example, we work closely with technology companies. I work closely with startups. You work closely with startups and other companies that need technological product services and innovation stuff. But there are some companies that they are like the classical companies, where there are a lot of, let's say it's blue collar employees. How can they actually create a culture of innovation, or this 20% rule? How do you think? Is there any idea on your mind?
Yeah, I mean, if you think about a blue collar type of company, maybe they're, I don't know, carpenters. Okay, I would say that even a carpenter can innovate in his field because he has the tools.
Yeah.
Maybe he can innovate on the tools that he uses, or he can research better tools to make his job easier. Or maybe he has, because he's working with the stuff already. The boss is up there. They are not working with the tools that the blue collar people are working with. Those blue collar guys and girls and women and men, they know what they need. The bosses up in the offices, they don't know what the people down there need. So the actual innovators can be those people who are using the tools, who are doing the workflow. Maybe they can innovate in a way where they know, okay, this factory line is there, but we need to put those items that come off that factory line to another factory line that is there. We think that it would be better if this factory line was closer to the other factory line, so we don't have to walk that far. Little things, but those little things in the workflow add up, and that additional time saving and that additional workflow fluidity means money at the end of the day.
Yeah. And people don't realize that.
Yeah.
I think we are out of time.
We are? Oh, this was such a good talk.
Yeah, that was fast.
Yes.
Let's do that more.
Yeah. Subscribe, ring the bell, and
comment below.
Yeah. What do you use your 20%, or do you have 20%?
Yeah. Does your company apply any creativity time for your employees?
Yeah. And if you have done something in your free time that had benefited the company and yourself, just comment below.
Let us know.
It would be interesting to know.
Thanks very much, Rob. Give me 5. Goodbye.